And influence so many people. How did you do it with that brand?
Well, I mean, with the grace of God, I was able to create a business with my beloved sister, Titi Branch. I really want to underscore the fact that I was fortunate enough to be involved in a very, very successful partnership. I'm talking about a family business, Vikki. The partnership between myself and my sister Titi Branch was the key to our success. And I wouldn't be a Miss Jessie's at the level that I am without the help and the support and the love of my sister. Titi performed at high levels in most areas of her life. Titi was not only beautiful, physically beautiful, she was also extremely intelligent, but at the same time she had a heart of gold. Titi was a team player. She really understood the value of partnership, and Titi was my big sister. Titi was my co-parent. We raised my son together. Titi was my roommate. She was my best friend. And for many years growing up in Jamaica, Queens, Titi was my protector. Oh, wow. So she wore so many different hats, and I would be doing Titi such a disservice if I didn't keep her wonderful legacy alive. And I'm able to do that effortlessly, not only through our business, not only through Miss Jessie's, the hair care company, but I am Titi. I'm a product of her. I'm a product of Titi. She was my big sister, and she taught me just about everything that I know. So when you look at me, when you talk to me, you're also talking to Titi Branch. I just want to, for the record, just share that I wasn't there in the moment that Titi died, and I'm not 100% sure of what happened in the moments of her death, but her death was reported as a suicide, so you are correct in that. But, back to depression and some of the things that may lead to a suicide, I believe that there's been a lot of awareness since Titi's death. Right. Titi did not die in vain. I have been able to touch many people and just speak on the topic and just open that conversation up. And I believe that, many people may be suffering in silence. Yes. I know for Titi and our family, if there was something wrong, we were raised around proud women, particularly proud black women. So when there's something wrong, we feel like you have to push through it and work through it, get over it, and keep it moving. And I think for Titi, there wasn't a lot of patience or a lot of understanding when it came to her challenges.
I'm an advocate for actually folks talking about the mental health and depression and various things like that, although that's not necessarily the founding cause of death with your sister. But again, that subject is a sensitive one. Now let's lighten the subject up here and go into this power of a company, Miss Jessie's. Who is Miss Jessie?
Miss Jessie. Miss Jessie was a wonderful woman. She played a huge role in my life and also my sister Titi Branch's life. Miss Jessie is our grandmother on our father's side. Her name it was Miss Jessie May Branch, and she was the first CEO that I'd ever seen. Wow. We had a chance to spend time with our grandmother during the summers, during the holidays, and my grandmother was a wonderful cook. So she literally ruled our family from her kitchen table. So if you sat around Miss Jessie, which many of us did because she had such a dynamic personality, you had to be her helper. And not only did you have to be her helper, you had to be a good helper. Okay. So there was a lot of quality control going on at her kitchen table. And, she often made things from scratch, and the reason why my grandmother made so many things from scratch is because she wanted it done a particular way. Right. And because she was very, very sure about what she wanted, she made it herself. Titi and I had no idea that later on, as young adults, we would tap into that time that we spent with our grandmother when it came time for us to create products for curly, kinky, and wavy hair. Right. And we named our product after our beloved grandmother, Miss Jessie's, and many of our products have a food reference because she was such a great cook. So that's how Miss Jessie's came to life.
Isn't that something? So in addition to TT, Miss Jessie has taken the country in hair, getting it where it would like to be. Because look at Miko's hair. Oh, speaking of which.
special. And I have to tell you, Vikki, from the time Titi and I decided to really focus on textured hair, curly, kinky, and wavy hair, I have to tell you, I see so many different forms of expression. Many women who look like me, who look like you, we're embracing, we're embracing what God gave us naturally. Yes. And it's not uncommon for us to experiment with different styles because that's what we do, because we're a creative group of women. But just to be able to land back to what God gave us naturally is such a joy. I mean, we have the most incredible hair. There's so much we can do with it. And we're celebrating. I can honestly say that. So when I see you rocking your hair with your braids, it lets me know that we're celebrating, we're proud, and we're confident in what we have.
Indeed. And I must say that for me, I was about 2 weeks ago, I was thinking about my hair, and because I don't have a problem with between wigs and this and that because of the lifestyle. But nonetheless, I said, I'm just kind of tired. I don't want the relaxers anymore. And the interesting thing is I had not, as an adult, actually wore my hair and how to maintain it. That's so awful because back in the days when I was a little bit younger, there was Jerry curls. So I went into that and so into relaxers. So I am looking forward to using Miss Jessie's product. But let me say this one thing here. Guess what I have? Some of these products. Yes. And you have great smell with this. Tell me about this product.
Well, this is baby buttercream, and this is a wonderful product in that, it doubles as both a moisturizer and also a styling product. This product is revolutionary because it does what it says it's going to do. And for women who are trying to embrace their hair, we need moisture. We need moisture all day, every day, 24 hours a day, and this product is able to give you that, but at the same time, it's able to give you a great style. So that's why people love baby buttercream. Don't let the name fool you. It looks like it's just for babies, but it's a big seller and a big hit amongst adults because, first of all, it works, it's so effective, and we just love the smell.
Yes,
so.
I've seen, I saw someone who had this, and she was sharing this on social media with her hair. Actually, she's a performer.
Yes.
And she had this, and she was talking about how it does great for her natural hair.
Yes.
So again, I'm excited about it, and then it smells so good. That's the other thing.
It's so yummy, and when we were creating these products, we thought about our grandmother and the consistency and the smell and the texture of the product and the look of it. That whole experience is supposed to be delicious, and at the same time, it's supposed to be good, just like at Miss Jessie's kitchen table.
Indeed. Now, let's jump into entrepreneurship. Obviously, Miko and Titi and Miss Jessie are all powerful women when it comes to business, when it comes to quality, when it comes to certain ingredients in product, ultimately making it the best for consumers. Now, you have some tips in your book here, and I do have the book. Wait a minute, here it is. I have the book. Miss Jessie's Creating a Successful Business from Scratch, Naturally. Now, creating a successful business from scratch, meaning, y'all, she started from the bottom. That's what it means. And grew it. So it's not one of those things where, all of the assets that were needed, all the properties, you literally started. Tell us about that starting process.
You're right, Vikki. We literally started our business from nothing. We had no loans. We had no angel investors. We had no special contacts. But what we did have was our God-given talent. I was always good at hair, naturally, as a kid. Titi was always a great communicator. She was a great organizer. And she was also a great sister. So together, we partnered up. And it was the partnership where the magic came. And together, I did the hair. Titi called every single person in New York City and wanted to know if they needed a hairstylist. And soon Ashley Stewart answered and said, yes, I do. I worked for 1 week and I made $8,000.
Wow.
$8,000 was the seed money to our first salon. And we were able to make that $8,000 from the partnership. I wouldn't have been able to canvas and get that get that gig, it was Titi, but Titi wasn't able to do the actual work. So
Right.
we needed one another.
Right,
And
right.
what a powerful team we were. And when the profits came, we shared. So 50% of it went to her part of the business and 50% went to my part of the business. I think I might have got a little bit more because I did the hair, but it was only a little bit more.
Awesome.
And we started our first business. Eventually, Vikki, we learned that conserving and taking the profits of our business and investing back in our business was the way to grow our business.
Yes, indeed. I believe in that. As an entrepreneur myself, I do the same thing. To be able to have the high quality productions, or you have to invest in the cameras and the lenses and not the cheap stuff. Don't shortcut yourself. And so it's the same thing in any type of business. But I want to go here for a minute with one of these, just a couple. I have to share a couple of these tips, guys, but you have to buy the book, because if you are looking to grow, to have inspiration for someone who's been there and done that, this is the book that you want to buy. Here's a side note that is written in this book where it says you have to be willing to do anything, including taking a second job, in order for your business to thrive. Now, the reason why this is unique to me, now you can tell us the story, is because of when you had the salon. I think not, I don't know at which point, but you had the salon and the bills were there, but you needed to make some more money for some other things. And you said, okay, you know what? Someone is looking for bartending. We're going to jump in here and do this. What happened? What was that about?
Well, Vikki, I was actually doing hair in my house, and this was right before Titi and I opened the salon. And I needed to I needed to either make rent, or I needed to pay my portion of the bills. And although I was already doing hair and wasn't making all that much money, I needed that little extra bit. So I came outside of my, what I do. I came outside of my lane, and I answered, to someone's request for me to be a bartender. I had never bartended before, but I did it on this particular night in Brooklyn. Jay-Z was actually at that party that night. And he gave a great tip to the bar, but I was able to. I had no idea what I would make, but at the end of the night, by just learning the skill on the job, I was able to make $2,000.
Right. And the point in this, guys, is the fact that she was willing to do what she had to do in order to ensure that not only did she maintain her business, but grow it as well. Now, there is another point that I want to bring out here. I can make a lot of points, but you have to buy the book, so I'm going to stop at this point. And this point that I want to bring out here is where she says in the book, invest in what you need, which you kind of brought that out just a while ago. You must have the proper tools when running a business. Shortcuts will lead to more labor and less efficiency, increasing operational costs. So when you go in there doing the cheap stuff and the shortcuts and all that, what ends up happening is it costs you in the long run. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. I have a wonderful father, and one of the lessons he taught us, many lessons, Vikki, but one of the lessons he taught us is that you're as good as your tools. So if you're going to invest in anything as it relates to your business or even yourself, invest in the best so you can perform your job at the highest level, so you can get what your value. You can get your value. So it's really important for you to invest in the tools that you need in order to operate your business. And that leads to self-sufficiency. If you're self-sufficient, you'll be less reliant on others to do a job where they're going to charge you a premium on it. So if you can invest in that and become, perhaps a one-woman show, that's all you need, and then you can take it from there.
Indeed. Now, we're talking to Miko Branch, who literally has her products across the country in Walmart, Walgreens, Target, 1,000 beauty supply stores, basically anywhere that you go in online, obviously, you can buy the products. But let's talk about that just briefly. Folks generally have the goal and the ambition I want my product or my books or my whatever it is that they have in Walmarts, in Targets, in the national retail stores. Yes. What was that like for you? Tell us a little bit about that, some real tips there.
Well, Vikki, many companies would love the opportunity to be in Target on those shelves. It means volume. It means doing big business with large retailers. I think for Titi and I, our understanding was similar. Titi and I spent so many years developing product at our kitchen table, spent so many years creating curriculums and creating, strategies for women to care for their natural curly and wavy hair, that we didn't understand that we were encouraging women to stop using relaxers. As a result, they stopped buying as much relaxers as they did in places like Target, Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS. So when we got a call back in 2009, and we actually didn't know it was Target because it was a third party who contacted us. They kept calling. They were very persistent. And it was Titi who took that last call. And my sister, as smart as she was, she knew a little bit about everything. Titi asked the person on the phone, well, where is this meeting? And they said, well, the meeting is in Minneapolis. And once they told Titi the meeting was in Minneapolis, Titi, that was enough for her to understand that this meeting is real. Anyone who knows anything about Target knows their headquarters is located in Minneapolis. So we jumped on a plane and we prepared to sell and pitch and promote our brand, but there were around 10 people in the conference room, and they said, you know what, we know exactly who you are, and we're going to order everything.
Oh, wow.
So, at the time we didn't know why we'd gotten that call from Target, but in looking back, our hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Sales were down in these large retailers, and we wanted to get that customer back in the store. And one of the wonderful things about Miss Jessie, I believe, to these retailers is that not only would this woman be back in the store, but now they can offer products, for this customer that they'd long ignored, and that they understood, who now is willing to spend a premium on products that work for her hair. Because I don't know if you remember back, maybe 10 years ago, if you went into an aisle with products, that were marketed to you, they were often dimly lit.
Yes.
There's a lot of dust on the shelves, not a lot of care. And Miss Jessie's, companies like Miss Jessie's let these large retailers know that this woman is serious, she's willing to pay for her hair, and it got that customer back in the store. And while she's buying her detergent, while she's buying her toothpaste, she's also going to invest in a jar of curly pudding, which is going to bring their basket up.
Right.
So in so many ways, they understood the value of having a company like Miss Jessie's front and center in their store.
I am so excited and elated and inspired. Generally, I am an inspirer, but I am sitting here inspired, sitting next to Miko Branch and Titi. Believe it or not, I feel a sense of strong inspiration from Titi because of her intellect, her business smart. And I've obviously never met her, but your mission to also ensure that her legacy lives is working.
Thank you, Vikki. Titi is alive in me, and like I mentioned to you earlier, I learned so much from her. And sometimes when I'm speaking, Titi was a great communicator. I could hear my sister through my voice, so that empowers me very much. And I'm so delighted that you hear her.
Indeed. Now, how can folks, which again, if you go to any retail store, you've obviously may have already purchased Miss Jessie's, know about Miss Jessie, but just for the few that are not, how and where outside of all retail stores, bottom line, Walmart, Targets, CVS, Walgreens, how can they find out more about you and the book? Any information outside of the obvious?
Well, me being Miko Branch, I'm new to social media. Well, maybe not new anymore. I've been on social media for around maybe a year and change, and I'm simply Miko Branch, and I actually do talk back. So if there's anything you ever wanted to say to me, at this point, I'm still talking back. But, if you ever wanted to support our brand, the best way to do that would be to support us at our website, MissJessies.com. And with your support, we have been, and we're going to continue to be able to do business independently. See, Vikki,
good.
we're not, we are still privately owned.
Okay.
We don't have investor money. We haven't partnered up with anyone, and that's quite a big deal for a company who has been in business as long as we have. You see, Titi and I have competitors, and when I say Titi's still with me. So we have competitors, and the playing field is different than it was when we first started.
Right.
Some of our competitors are now L'Oreal. Some of our competitors are, big investment firms. and also, other businesses who understand that there's a lot of money to be made in the business of beauty. So, being competitive and being able to stay, in this game with your shirt on is quite challenging at times. And I'm just so proud that I can honestly say we're still in business and we're privately owned. And I think Titi would be proud of that too.
I think so too, and I am too, because it is a lot out there in terms of angel investors, those who are, seed funding, things of that nature. For you to be where you are, as long as you have, that is commendable. That's commendable. So support by going to MissJessies.com. Through way of the website, you're able to purchase the items that you're able to purchase in Walmarts and Walgreens. I know I have become a fan, and I am very, very glad that you stopped by and talked with me here at VMH Magazine, because I kid you not, I'm a realist, and I have been able to feel where the folks are, not to judge, but I can feel the energy from people. And I kid you not, Miss Branch, Miko, I wanted to say Miko. Miko has some great energy there, and I can feel the passion and the sincerity and the authenticity, and also the strength. This woman has strength in her. So I appreciate that. And guys, support her. I am going to be already. Oh, and one more thing. Let me tell you something. Even with where you are and all the competitors and the competition out there, her team is the bomb. Let me tell you something. Her team is awesome. I kid you not, they're on it. So just because of who you are, I do believe that. Let me tell you another thing. I'm jumping from place to place, but it's just so much. I think because sometimes what people are in terms of authenticity, that draws people to them. It's not always just about the product, but the fact that people are sincere, they genuinely care about the hair, is so much non-trustworthy or untrustworthy folks out there in business, because the competition is so high. But when you meet people like Miko, what happens is, I need to pay attention to that book. I need to pay attention to the product, and I'm going to support this person. And I do believe that your team and the support that you have and being able to stay in business for as long as you have privately, it comes from you, your sister, your grandmother, that line, and those ethics that your father put in place. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, Vikki. Thank you. I'm so proud. We've been able to employ people who have been with us for many years. We have been able to employ friends. We have been able to employ family members, aspiring professionals. We've partnered up with other businesses, whether it be through PR, businesses who are starting just like we did. So the opportunity is there, and every chance we get, we try to extend, to others so they can get that start that they need. Titi and I had each other, and we realized that we were blessed, and sometimes, there's not a partnership going on, but sometimes people just need some extra encouragement or just an opportunity. And we make products all day, and we're known for hair care, but Vikki, Titi and I realize that we're influencers not only in the areas of hair, but we're also we're business women. And we're unique business women in that we built our business from scratch. And we also understood that there are so many more Titi and Mikos in this world. Being Titi and Miko is not unique to just Titi and Miko. There's many people out here, specifically and particularly women. We tend to be really good at what we do, and we're also wonderful multitaskers. So talent and being good at something, doesn't belong to just us. Many people have it, and they just sometimes need to hear a story for that inspiration that lets them know that this is something I can try. And that's why Titi and I decided to write a book and share our story.
It will benefit. Go buy this book. It will benefit you. I already have. Here you go. For anyone that's looking. Again, Miko Branch, thank you so much, and many, many blessings to come. Support Miss Jessie's, TT, and Miko and the products, because they're great. I have a few more here, and I'm looking forward to when these braids come out. Yes, it's going in. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye, guys. Bye.